The Spirit of Ecstasy, handmade Starlight headliner, the gyroscopic center caps, the magic carpet ride, all of it only found in a single car. The Rolls-Royce is the pinnacle of engineering and the definition of ultra-luxury. In this video, we're going to find out what it's like to live with the Cullinan, the Rolls-Royce's signature SUV, and by the end of the video, you will find out why it's still worth buying the Rolls-Royce Cullinan despite its ridiculously massive price tag. I borrowed this Cullinan from the local dealer here in Palm Springs area called Desert Auto Dealer, and the owner, Avi, is an amazing guy who has an amazing inventory, including this Cullinan. If you're interested, check out his website because he has some amazing cars, like I said, including the Cullinan. I'm gonna put the link in the description below under this video. The Series 1 Cullinan, which is this, now been around for a while. They were produced from 2019 to 2024. And it's crazy to think about it that this car now is an old model of the Cullinan because the Series 2 just began production this year in 2025. So I wanted to look back with the original Cullinan, the Series 1, and just see how it held up over the years. And this is a 2021 Cullinan with over 30,000 miles. And to be honest, it still looks opulent, it still looks brand new, and it definitely makes the ostentatious presence that this car all about. Starting with exterior, obviously, Rolls-Royce follows its signature look with its massive, beautiful grille. That is basically timeless. This design has been around, very similar design, since BMW acquired the Rolls-Royce back in early 2000s. And this platform, the Cullinan, based on the 8th generation Phantom, and literally the whole front end is basically Phantom, which is great, but now it's in the form of SUV, and Rolls-Royce wanted to catch up to its rivals when Lamborghini, Aston Martin, now Ferrari, all of them making SUVs, and Rolls-Royce didn't want to be behind the SUV trend, and Cullinan quickly became the best-selling Rolls-Royce ever made, which is no surprise in modern SUV-driven world. And going around it, the car still looks very new today. The rear of it kind of reminds me of simplistic look of the Range Rovers, which is fine. I know some people don't like the way the rear end looks, but one thing is for sure, the massive size of this car, because I'm 6'3", it's basically my height. Normally, all the SUVs and cars that I get around, it never feels this big. The wheels alone, this is a 24-inch wheel on the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. It looks absolutely massive, and all these big doors are so massive. The whole car screams wealth and luxury and riches, and that is the point of the whole Rolls-Royce. By just its presence, it makes the statement and shuts down every other ultra-luxury brand, including the Bentley, the Aston Martin, the Lamborghinis of the world. There is nothing like the Rolls-Royce. And I don't have to tell you that any four-door Rolls-Royce is associated with the owner having the chauffeur, the driver, on the payroll. But with Cullinan, because it's been an SUV, that's not the case. Apparently, only 10% of Cullinan owners have the chauffeur on their payroll. This car is being daily driven, depending, of course, where you live. And also, the owners of Rolls-Royce nowadays getting younger too. In 2010, the average age of the Rolls-Royce owner was 56 years old. Nowadays, it is 43, which is fascinating. Now, the owners getting younger, more fashionable, and vibrant. And also, the Cullinan became the #1 car choice among celebrities. 50 Cent, Kardashians, Jay-Z, Beyonce, they all love the Cullinan. And of course, I'm here in the back, and it is magnificent here in the back seat, and that's exactly where you want to be. But at the same time, the front of it also looks really great. I feel really bad wearing my shoes because this carpet here is so plush and soft. I want to put my face on it. I want to be naked inside this car.
What?
Then the red interior is right in your face, screaming in a pleasant way, not in a plebeian way. It's a beautiful place to be. The iconic Starlight headliner with options to customize the constellations that you want to see in the ceiling of your car. You can literally live out of this car. In a different life, I probably sold everything and buy the Cullinan and traveling around and lived in it. It is a wonderful place to be. And despite being SUV and practical and comfortable, the Rolls-Royce Cullinan still doesn't want you to put any extra effort, and you can close your doors with the push of a button. Now let's get out of the back seat and talk practicality, because that is the reason why people are using the Cullinan as a daily driver. As we approach the back, I love the back of it. The rear tailgate is split tailgate, which is amazing. You press the button somewhere here, and then it opens the upper part. Then you press this button here, and the lower part goes down. You can sit on it, chill here, can talk to your wealthy friends. But the coolest thing about it is how much space there is in the back, the cargo space. And obviously you wouldn't be that surprised because this car is absolutely massive. And then there's this little incline situation happening. But with the simple press of this button, it goes down, it becomes completely flat, and now there's even more space. I absolutely love that feature. But then if you want to close it, just press one button here, and both of the parts just close themselves. How cool is that? Now let's talk the wonderful, magnificent V12 of the Cullinan. And speaking of the engine, since BMW owns the Rolls-Royce, it has BMW's signature hood opening situation. So you have to pull the latch, the hood latch, twice. And this massive hood is just so heavy, and you pull it, and you need some effort here, and you see the 6 3/4, not 6.75. That's not how Rolls-Royce want you to call this engine. It's 6 3/4. The BMW variant N74 V12. Absolutely beautiful engine here in the engine bay. Obviously, all covered with plastic and stuff, but still, what a beautiful place to be. What a cool place to witness. I'm talking the engine still, and this engine produces 563 horsepower, 663 pound-feet of torque. With its massive size and massive engine, it still does 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Absolutely impressive. So smooth, everything looks and feels amazing. I can see why people pay $390,000+, because the base price of this car was around $390,000, and it's crazy. At the same time, if you think about it, all luxury cars for the most part depreciate like crazy, but Rolls-Royce holds its value surprisingly well, and it is incredibly reliable because 65% of all Rolls-Royces ever made are still on the road today. It's insane. And speaking of the price, apparently Rolls-Royce only loses, by only I mean it's still relatively a lot, 30% of its original sticker price. This car is 2021 and it was around $400,000 new, but now it's still worth around $280,000, which is insane, because when you compare that to Bentley Bentayga or Aston Martin DBX, they literally lose half of its value in 1 year. And then Bentayga nowadays, like 5-6-year-old Bentayga, you can buy for around $65,000. That car new was around $280,000-$300,000. But that doesn't happen to the Rolls-Royce, and specifically Cullinan. It is very much in high demand still. Now the second generation, the Series 2, just came out, and people love the Cullinan, and I can see why. And this is totally can be daily driven. It is incredibly practical, it is incredibly spacious, it is reliable, and I can see why most people, the owners of the Cullinan, don't have the chauffeur on their payroll. It is absolutely a blast to drive it yourself. And then this sitting position, the imperious sitting position. I look onto the world, the outside world of this car. I look at poor people of this world from such a high standpoint. I kind of feel ashamed, but I am not, because I am driving the ultimate luxury in the car world.